Hey, everyone, it's Veronica.
This is Andy.
Cheers, this is Cheryl.
Howdy, it's Sultan, and this is Logging into UKG, a Chicago Users production.
Your 2025 Innovation Award
T-
winners and your favorite HCM podcast by HCM admins for HCM admins. Here we go.
Before we go into introducing anything, could you warn us when you're gonna change up the
Change it up.
Nope.
Yeah,
Yep.
the moment you say 2025, I'm like, uh-oh, Andy doesn't know what year it is.
I know we're like, time out.
Oh
It
my
all
God.
worked out. It all
Oh,
worked out.
That's
did
true.
anybody
It
hear
did.
that laugh
The-
that's in the background? It's not the four of us.
yeah, we
heard
haven't
it.
introduced who that laugh belongs
Sarah,
to yet.
tell us who we got today.
Yes, we have an exciting guest today. David Kermis. He is from UKG. He is the Senior Director of Product Management over Pro HCM. So, David, if you want to go ahead and take it away and give us some more insight about you and what you do.
Welcome to the podcast.
Well,
Yeah, welcome.
Woo!
Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl, and thank you, team, for having me on the podcast. I will be very honest. It's my first podcast ever on any kind of podcast forum, so I am a little nervous, believe it or not, but I'm happy to be here, and I really do appreciate the opportunity. So a little bit about myself. I know I've met many of our HCM customers over the years at UKG. That's because I've been around for a very long time. I started in 1996. That was when I joined the company. We were a pretty small organization at that time. I think I was like around employee 170-ish, 170, something like that. So it's been quite a journey, and it's been a great career, and I've gotten to meet many of our 6,000 plus Pro HCM customers. And I've actually started off on the engineering side of the house. I was an engineer for the first 20-ish years of my career before I switched over to product management, where I really wanted to spend more time influencing product strategy, and I just love talking to customers. I love talking to all of you, and that seemed to be a more of a natural fit for me versus being in at a desk and coding all day. And that's what led me to product strategy and as a leader in the Pro HCM space, specifically with the Pro HR onboarding and recruiting products. So that's a little bit about my background. I look forward to talking a little bit more about my career here and my experience in the HCM business.
Awesome.
Well, on behalf of everybody else, I know this is an HR podcast, but I'm glad we could be the first to pop your cherry. Come to a door. What? I'm just saying,
Thank you.
somebody got to say it.
Thank you, Veronica.
That's true. That's true. You did put it out there.
You
That's
gotta
good.
somebody's thinking it. Like, we are the first. We are happy to be the first. We're glad you chose us to be the first. I love the fact that Andy's like not gonna let this one die for a while. I love the fact that you are dare I say, a bit of a nerd. Like, you started as like an engineer, and then you kind of
Mhm.
segued out of that space over to here. So it's super. I've met you a couple times, so it's really
Yep.
cool to see you in this space. But I'm sorry, guys, I had to break the
No,
ice.
and that's
All
good.
good.
And that explains with the engineer background that you can walk both worlds, right? Where you can talk
Yeah.
to the customer and then you can talk to the developers and the engineers, and it's perfect. You're in the perfect role right now.
Yeah, thank you, Cheryl. And it does give me a different perspective that a lot of other product leaders do not have. And at UKG and at many product development organizations, product leaders are partnered up with engineering leaders. So being able to really have that technical background and really understand, I guess you could say, how the sausage is made, it does help you because it helps you I guess understand what we can do, what we cannot do, the complexity of certain things, and having that background definitely helps.
Awesome. So you took us back a little bit. Why don't we stay back a little bit? How did you fall into the HR tech space? 1996.
Yeah.
I remember where I was in 1996. I'm sure we all do.
We
Uh,
do, yes.
Freshman. in
And
high school.
I'm sure he doesn't want to know how old all of us were in
I,
1996.
I was kind of listen.
Veronica went there anyway. It's
I went
okay.
there. Like
You went there.
I don't think he was like 50 when he was in 1996. I'm sure he was much
David
older.
is a prodigy. We'll just stay with that.
Right.
There you go. Prodigy.
Right. He was
And
a
I
then-
was
prodigy.
I was very early in my career. I was only about a year and a half out of college
Love
when I came across Ultimate Software. So I'm a legacy Ultimate Software peep, I guess you could say. That was the old term we used.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, I started off in the software industry as an engineer. I was working for a software consulting company. This is going to go way back for a lot of people, but I was doing Lotus Notes development.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, Lotus Notes development, and Ultimate Software needed someone who understood that platform. They had just invested a lot of money into implementing it both as a email system and as a platform for building like little apps that you would run the product or run the company internally. So they managed to bring me over. A little fun fact, we won't go into details, but maybe one time when we're all together in a bar, they actually found me in Amsterdam and managed to pull me back. So that's another story. We could go down a real
wow.
We're gonna
dark
hold you
hole.
to it. We're gonna
I'm
hold you.
like,
There might need to be a guest
Where-
spot number 2 for you. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yes.
You do realize that when you say maybe in the future when we're at a bar, when you use the term "you," it's not just the 4 of us. You are opening that door to all these listeners.
Right.
Yep.
Like, what?
It's a fun story though, and it was great how I ended up here, and I'm very thankful I did too, because it led to this career that I've been in for the last 29 years. But they hired me to come in as a developer, and I'll show you just real quickly. I'll share my picture of my. This is about maybe I was with the company for about a month at the time, a month or two. But this is me when I joined the company. So let me see.
So for those of you that are listening,
Wow.
this
Wow.
is the time when you transition to the video of this podcast because you get to see a really cool picture. I swear it feels like there's DOS on there.
Yes.
Yes.
I was just thinking that.
Like
Floppy
AS400
disk, and you've got.
floppy disk.
Yep.
Look at the size of the monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the mouse.
Ooh, an external
Huge.
drive. I see
Yep,
that.
external
Yeah.
drive.
Yep.
Kind of a pseudo mullet too. It wasn't quite a mullet, but that was a thing back then.
Wow, we learned about a lot from you. You're obviously a Florida guy.
Yep. The Florida
you an
Gators. We see that.
Are you
Yeah.
an FSU grad?
No, I'm a Florida Gator grad, and we had just beaten FSU for the championship.
Yeah, 52 to 20. Wow.
Yeah, it was great.
And what's the big grid on the wall next
I
to
was wondering that, like
the big grin. Oh, this thing over here.
you?
it looks like a folder structure, some sort of diagram.
Oh,
Yeah.
the grid. Yeah, that's a Lotus Notes programming diagram with all the different classes and objects that you could code with at the time. So yeah, that I would reference that chart whenever I was coding.
It was your
I like-
giant cheat sheet. I
Yep.
love it.
One more thing I'd like to
Yes.
point out. You guys remember those calendars?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're
Uh-huh.
like
Little tearaway
right there.
Yeah,
Yes.
That was
cartoon a
Farside.
day.
That was Farside calendar.
We were even
wow.
drinking a Gatorade in there, and that's where Gatorade started too. Look at this. I love that you shared this picture. We're getting so much.
Oh, thank you. It's a lot of fun to show everybody, and I think one of the fun things that we have now with my team is we do play the game. Where were you in 1996 when Dave Kermis started at UKG? And it's really sad when you get these looks and many people respond with, "I was not even born yet."
Aw.
Thanks.
Yeah. So it does date me a little bit. It does age me, but it's a lot of fun. And some people, I don't know, they would say that I was in third grade or high school or whatever it was. But yeah, that's a fun part about, being around and being with a company for as long as I have. It's such a rarity, now,
It is.
especially in the HCM business. And I was just very fortunate that there was just a lot of opportunity there with the company, and I could grow. When I did join the company, though, I think somebody mentioned DOS. I saw Veronica. I think that was you. Um, Believe it or not, when I joined the company, that was the only product we had. We were a payroll only product running Fox Pro. It was built on Fox Pro, and it was one of those
Wow.
green screens,
Yeah.
and you would run your payroll on a DOS computer. So
Did you
yeah, I
play
got this.
Oregon Trail too while you were at work? No, I'm just kidding.
Say that again, Cheryl.
Playing Oregon Trail, because we would play that on the old Apple computers in the DOS programming.
No, that one I don't remember that one.
Maybe that's just a Midwest game. Help me out here.
No, it's a California game too.
Okay,
I
good,
love
good.
Oregon Trail. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
You what? You don't know what it is?
I said I loved it.
Oh,
What are you
okay,
talking
good.
about? I
Yes.
loved
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. But you know what's fascinating though about when I came into the company, and we were just a payroll business at the time, but we were starting to build the first HR product, software product, or at least our first one, and we were trying to pick which it was going to be a desktop application and what would be the operating system, and you all know where I'm going with this. We were basically designing the back office product at that time. So all in Delphi and SQL. And then I got to see, the whole groundwork be built out and put in place. But shortly after that, and we went to market, I think it was in 1997. That's when the internet really started to take hold. And we had to rapidly pivot from what was it, a 32-bit operating desktop platform to, oh crap, we need to build something on the web because that's where everything is going. And that's how I got more involved in the product development, because I then started to work on our very first web-based self-service products. It was employee self-service, and I was the one of the first three developers actually that was building out the first web application for Ultimate Software, and then that just led me kind of build from there, and then if you remember back in those days, everything was built for on-premise installation. This whole concept idea of SaaS-based software just did not exist. And over time, we started to go to data centers, and then that led into SaaS itself. So I got to really see the products and the industry just evolve, along from a on-premise kind of, install everything off a floppy disk or DVD to, SaaS-based software where we do, continuous deployments and deployments in the background, and all through, push technology, which is very different from where we were back in the day. So yeah, it's been exciting. It's been exciting too to see the industry go from payroll only, and payroll is the big thing, but then start to layer in HR, and then later on recruiting and onboarding, and all the talent management products started to take hold. And then that's when you really start to see these full suite HCM solutions. So anyways, that's a little bit about my history, and some of yes, I've seen a lot, over the years with what we've the way the products have, with how the products in the industry has evolved.
So I have a question for you, and it's okay if you're like, yeah, this is not my realm, skip,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
When you talk about, so we have core, right, or pro
Mhm.
HCM, and then as you said, brought on onboarding, recruiting, and some of those. There's no, I'm going to say, back into that, right? And I think sometimes explaining that to others could be difficult, right? Where I could have, run a SQL application or something in the back end in pro, but in recruiting or maybe onboarding, what you see is what you get. There's no back end access. I don't know if you can
Yeah.
speak to that a little bit. I think I
Yeah.
find that interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually I'd like to, because I like that question, because I'm actually really excited about what we've been doing to unify our data over the last couple of years, and everybody who attended Aspire, or when you hear roadmap meetings, you frequently hear the term people fabric.
Yep.
And you're right. So as Pro evolved from that payroll only product then to a payroll HR, and then we started to add on additional products. The the data model at that time was less complicated, and as the industry evolved, it became a lot more complicated. At the time, it seemed to make sense to build recruiting separate from there, or onboarding separate from the core system. And the it kind of evolved into this point where you're right, Cheryl. Recruiting has its own database, onboarding has its own database, but as we became more of a SaaS-based company, and as we started to take advantage of newer technologies, that approach has inhibited us from really taking better advantage of being able to look at our data holistically in one common place, and that impacts you negatively on the reporting side. Even as we go to build new AI capabilities, that having your data models in different places is not conducive to being able to rapidly innovate. So that's why a few years ago we started to work on the concept of people fabric, and that really enables us to really bring all of our data into one central location, but it also enables us to standardize the data model that we all operate off of. And then as we build new applications or we enhance existing applications, we can start building off that common data model. And so I think what you're going to see with UKG and our HCM product is you're going to see more and more of the benefits and value come out of having that unified data model in People Fabric. And you're going to see it first with reporting. That was the main focus, because that was where I think a lot of our customers were feeling the most pain, is not having the ability to see all of our data, whether it's in workforce management, whether it's in recruiting or HR or payroll. You really couldn't get that holistic view of the data, whether it's integrating in or pulling data out or doing reporting. So you'll see, and it's going to be incremental, but you'll see a lot of the benefits of that, and creating a better product, I think, experience for our customers end to end. Cheryl, did that answer, I think, the question, or did I miss anything there?
No, I think that was a great explanation. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So David, it sounds then like maybe this this data fabric that you're talking about might go ahead and help connect some of the gaps that exist where, hey, someone might put in I-9 data in onboarding, but then once they get hired in core, it doesn't show up under their identification documents or things like that. Is that something that we'll start seeing some of those changes as that gets rolled out more?
Yeah, absolutely, Dalton. And that's the intent. Are you going to see it all at once? Probably not, but as we go to tackle some of these pain points that our customers have, now we have a new thing in our tool bag. We have this thing called People Fabric, and we have the way that we're syncing the data. We have new ways that we can build a more optimal experience, so that when you do get into the HR product, you still have access to all that data that you collected in onboarding, and it's a more seamless experience. Dalton, I'm going to make one more quick comment, because we did invest a lot into trying to with the different applications. You had a lot of seams, and we focused initially on the UI layer, making a more common experience, where we eliminated some of the extra tabs and same common look and feel. Now, I know there's some mixed reactions to the new look and feel. I love it personally, but the next step in that journey to unify and eliminate those seams then starts with our data, and that's what's happening now. Is we're starting to eliminate some of those data seams as well too. So, anyways, a little bit of a long answer to your question, but yeah, I think that was a great question though.
I have a piggyback off of that one, because you were talking about how People Fabric's also going to help from the reporting side of it, and I'm a big reporting nerd. And I remember a couple years ago, maybe even 2 years ago at Aspire, there was all this talk about improving the experience in people analytics, and almost having like an administrator package of the administrator package, where it's very easier to pull in points of data regardless of the modules, rather than having joins and all the other functionality that you can currently do in in people analytics. Is that also what you're referring to as well, and helping improve the reporting side of it?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, that's the primary use case that we're trying to I guess extract that value from first. Focus on improving the overall reporting experience, giving it, like UKG and Suresh talked about this at Aspire, but our data is one of our big, powerful differentiators in the market, but to really take advantage of it, you got to have all that data together in a way that's easy to access and report on. So yes, that is the big use case. Now, we're also leaning into some AI capabilities too, and using that to advance our AI. And there are other use cases too as well, but absolutely with reporting for sure. Now, I can't speak into detail as to what the longer term strategy is around that, but you will see a lot of exciting stuff coming out of the reporting space over the next 3 to 6 months and throughout 2026.
Okay.
I think our listeners are going to love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Something else. Oh, sorry. Go for it, Veronica.
I was gonna say, you stepped into it a little bit when you talked about the experience and that you like that. I'm curious as to what's the driving factors and the motivators for what changes occur and how those changes. I know you do betas. I know there's tons of cabs, but sometimes I sit in these meetings or these forums or the conference and you're going like, who recommended that? Like, right? Or who finalized that? Like, I'm curious as to when you all are sitting around the table and you're thinking about product and you've got all these different components, what surfaces up? What really says these are the big hit items we want to accomplish in, the next 3 to 5 years, be it the look and feel, be it the functionality? What are some of the driving factors to kind of help make those decisions?
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple, input channels, I guess you could say, or ways to input and drive that. But it really does at the end of the day, it starts with our board, and our corporate strategy and what direction, where do we want to focus on, where do we want to grow, where are the biggest opportunities to build the business. And from there, we do an annual planning, but it's really more of a 6-month roadmap kind of planning that we do. And so every 6 months we're revisiting, but even quarterly then too, we have enough flexibility into our process to where we can pivot a little bit too if needed. But I'll say it starts with the corporate strategy and where we're going there, and then from there we then start to drill down into the different products themselves, and that's where we really lean into customer feedback, customer input. I know a lot of customers when I speak to them. Sometimes they get a little cynical or roll their eyes about aha ideas and are we really listening to them? But trust me, we really, really are. And that is a big influencer on some of the decision making. But we're also working with our partners too in sales. We have to balance out some of the innovation with what sales needs in order to sell the product. There's input from our services team as well too when it comes to configuring and making a product that is easier to implement. And then there's a lot of the cabs are so valuable. I love those cabs. They're such a great opportunity for us to really that's more when we start to get into the execution phase, but even strategy, like we'll call our cabs together and we'll talk strategy, but then also as we're executing on building, we'll showcase some of the stuff that we're doing too to get feedback as well too. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways then that we bring all that data together, and in our planning periods, we then try to prioritize. Unfortunately, we can't do everything, and I wish we could. And it's a tricky game at times, on how to prioritize. But it is at the end of the day, it's that the corporate goals or objectives that we then that will kind of directionally send us
Yeah, you're
down certain
definitely.
paths. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Dalton, I know you got a question. I just asked one last
Oh,
He's
little
like
piece.
bouncing
No,
around.
no, you're all
What?
good.
So what happens, like you said it, like people, you've heard a lot of mixed feedback about the new UI, right? And the new user experience. And a lot of it, I think, at this point, besides functionality, has to do with you went from being able to really customize the look and feel and the branding, heard a lot about, and now you can't. So what happens if you get an overwhelming sense of like negative feedback, or people are just like up and roar about it? Because us
Yeah.
UKG customers can get up and roar. What do you guys do with that?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
before you answer that, I was going to say that's exactly what one of the roundtables we had at Aspire, and we
Oh,
were
yeah.
giving you a fire hose of information, and a lot of it was negative. And you and
Yeah.
your team, I mean, you were writing it down. Wait, can you clarify that? Writing it down. So yes, perfect, Veronica. I was going there too.
Yeah, and I think Cheryl, you were at that table with me, and our
Yes.
CTO, who was very new to the company, only maybe a couple of months there, and he was at the
Like,
table.
oh, he's right by me, and he's like, what? And he's like writing it down. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it does help though, Dronik. I think like when we hear that, we do have to pivot sometimes. And let me take a step back a little bit to kind of give you an example. Do you remember the mobile rollout?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we missed the mark on mobile a little bit in the beginning there, especially the login experience and a few other things. And we did have to pivot there. We had to take a step back. We brought together like a task force. It was like all hands on deck too. And we started to do daily meetings with our CPO, our CTO, and to review progress. And I think we've done a great job, improving that mobile experience significantly. Now there's still some gaps there. I'm sure that customers want to see on mobile, but overall the experience is night and day from when we first rolled it out to where it is now. And we went fast. We had to go fast. We had no other choice. It was the feedback was very negative initially, and that so we do have flexibility like that, and the customers, yes, they are our number one. I guess you could say
Critic,
feedback or
critic, you can
critic.
say.
There you go.
Constructive feedback.
Constructive. Yeah. I will say it's the power users are they're the most constructive ones. Yeah.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
all of us.
Ooh,
Yes.
we're sorry.
All of you people.
We'll own it. We'll own it. Yeah.
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 I,
Yeah,
I
but I'm
think
not afraid of it. Like, you know what? Bring it on because we need that. And it does have an impact. And yeah, maybe you don't always get the answer you want to get, but it does help a lot. And we should never be afraid of tough conversations and hard conversations. As a leader, I embrace that. I think why did I survive 29 years at UKG, especially the last 5 years? It, because I'm a very honest and direct person, and I don't run away from conflict. You've got to embrace these tougher challenges, and if you do, you can figure them out, you can solve them, and you can move forward. In fact, sometimes you need to take a step back in order to take two steps forward. So I'm a big believer in that, and yeah, hopefully, Veronica, that helped answer the question.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
Great
I know
question.
Dalton's sitting on the edge of his seat. Go
no, no. Well, I want to just highlight real quick something that you had mentioned just now, and sort of a through line that we heard when talking to Bob Del Ponte is this idea of honest feedback to help UKG grow. Because I feel like sometimes as users we can get into the sense of like, oh, well, we're telling them this and they're hearing that. But what I'm seeing from both of you that I'm really loving is this idea of the users want this to be as good as it can because it makes their life easier. And I love that idea of, be constructive, give us this information, because if we're all listening and talking to each other to really understand and make it better, we're all winning.
Yeah.
And I really want to just highlight that specifically from what you had been just talking about, and then also from having Bob on here, like we heard that from him, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
It's
I
nice to hear
agree,
that.
Dalton. And that, I mean, that's just in life too.
Mhm.
If you want to be successful in life, I think that's it's not just a business thing. It's how you, I think, succeed in life in general as well too. So, I hope more leaders are like that and willing to accept it. I know it's not always easy to receive negative feedback, but it's something that we all need to, be open-minded to. Dalton, I'll say one thing too. You made a comment there where, sometimes customers don't feel like they're being heard. And one of the things I try to tell my product team is that, you know, you got to put yourself in the shoes of the customer. You've got to know how they use our products. You've got to, we're there. Our product leader or product managers are not um, running payroll every day or hiring people every day like our users are, or using the system every day like our users are. So that's why it's really, really important to have a very much like a customer first approach mindset, and then put yourself like get hold of them, like look at how they're using the product. And that's why I love these like labs that we do, or these sessions where we're bringing customers now in on site where they will show us how they use the product. And those are so valuable, and you learn so much. And then that way you become a better listener. The more you understand how they're using the product, then you become a better listener. So sometimes we are not good listeners just because maybe we haven't spent enough time talking to the customers. But that's where we evolve and develop that way. The longer you're in the business and the more you learn the products and stuff, then we become better listeners. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So something that I know that's speaking of listeners, that they like to experience or hear or interact with uh, on our platforms, whether it's going to be the podcast or whether it's our monthly calls, is they really, really love sneak peeks.
Yes.
So being over, and specifically product, senior director of project management for like the recruiting and onboarding areas, is there anything coming up that you can either give a little sneak peek at or a hint, something to sort of whet their appetite for that coming down the road?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, global is a big thing right now. We are definitely investing more and focusing more on enhancing our global experience. I'm pretty excited about that because Pro is even though you can manage global employees in the system, it's not the optimal experience. And so that's a big one. I'd say you're not going to see it immediately, some of the enhancements, but probably in the back half of 2026, second half of 2026 calendar year, you'll start to see some things with global. Another thing I'm really, really excited about is the new team overview. That's already gone out there a little bit, but it really is transforming the way that managers can use HR and access how they access information about their employees. Just the way you can search and find employees, to the insights that we can surface up there. That's another big development. And then I'll say one more area that in this one I'm probably even more excited about, but we're not doing a lot of the work ourselves in our space, but we're partnering with the teams that work on HRSD. So like the document manager, there's some really big improvements coming out with document manager. We mentioned about our data model unifying it, but also our document experience. We have to really unify that. And as one of the big wins of modernizing the document manager experience in HRSDs, it's given us a centralized way now to manage documents. And that way, like when you collect documents in recruiting or onboarding, you can surface them up in HR after you're an employee. Just simplifies that whole experience and access a lot of the document information from the mobile product as well too. Including I think Doc Manager is now going to be finally, I'm sorry, document acknowledgement is now going to be accessible from the mobile product. So I'll say one last thing too is people assist, and maybe not everybody here, all of our customers use people assist, but one of the things I've been advocating for many years is to how do you connect people assist directly into the HR workflows, so it's not this the workflow and people assist ends and then you manually have to pick up and enter everything into whatever HR application after the fact. But that is, we're also working on in 2026 the ability to fully integrate that experience so that now you can create these custom workflows in people assist and have them automatically update the HCM system. So it just gives Pro a lot more flexibility in the way you use it, you implement it, and tailor it, around each of your unique business needs. So those are just some of the highlights. Those are the areas that get me pretty excited for our customers.
Okay. We've had a good run. I'm just like, everybody's like staring. I'm like, we've had a good run. I'm wondering, 29 years. I'm sure that's a long career. You've talked a little bit about the beginning. Before we started the podcast recording, you talked a little bit about what's life for David Kermis after this is all over. So instead of getting into that, imagine next week's your last week, the end of this month. I know it's hard to think about it. And you had to leave your team and the people around you with advice around, some good wisdom, some things to maybe think about, some ways to think of perspective. What's on the David Kermis bubble? What do I take away from David Kermis as I'm going to the future when he's in his camper?
Traveling, yes.
Great.
Great.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'll first say is if Dave Kermis is moving off into the sunset, I'm really proud of the team that I have of leaders that work for me. They're more than capable, and I maybe some of my subject matter expertise and knowledge is tough to replace, but I'm replaceable. I really am at the end of the day, and I know my team can run the things for me. But where I think UKG needs to go, especially with their HCM product, is we, as it evolves, there's some big investments that we're trying to make in workflow and enhancements and extensibility. Because I think the market itself, I know AI is a big thing too, but everyone knows the AI story, but I'm going to tell a little bit more of the workflow and extensibility because I think as customers, organizations, you're just seeing this trend towards more and more global, like a lot of even small, like before it used to be like only large enterprise companies had global workforce, but even in the smaller companies, they're leaning more and more to balancing out their workforce across the different throughout the globe. And so I do feel like we have to continue to evolve our global capabilities, but we also have to create more flexibility around how you can configure workflows, so you don't have all these manual workarounds or processes. And you have more seamless workflows, connected workflows between different products all working together. And then finally, how you extend the product, to have it be able to again be tailored more around your business needs. So instead of trying to change or force your business to fit the software, it's how do you make that software fit your business? And that's where I would encourage my team and our leaders to continue to evolve that flexibility you get through workflow and extensibility, make it not just an HR thing, but a whole like pro HCM thing. So, Veronica, is that kind of, is that,
Oh, that's good advice. I mean, you didn't just say kudos to your team. That shows the type of leader you are. I mean, the trust and that you would walk away, but even more so, you left some wisdom for your leaders. So even if
Uh-huh.
you're not leaving anytime soon, leaders, I
yeah,
think what you said is really great because it speaks to the customers. Like you said, everyone's tapping into AI, but
yeah,
we're forgetting some of the foundational aspects of the system. I love that you talked about global.
yeah,
We're using global recruiting and it leaves a lot to be desired. So I think that you're exactly right and spot on. And most importantly, I think wisdom is always good wisdom, right? It's
yeah,
good wisdom.
yeah. Thank you, Veronica. Yep, yep.
Absolutely.
And when
Before
you,
we get,
oh, I was just say,
oh,
when you
go
do
for
get
it.
to that point, though, I think you got to take, when you're ready and you do decide to retire, you got to do a picture at your desk. So you've got
Mhm.
your first day and your last day, and just see how the technology, everything has changed.
That's
That's really
That's
good.
that's a
Yeah.
good idea. I'll have to do that where I kick back and I put my thumb
You put
up
your,
too,
yep,
big smile.
have like a Gatorade bottle next to you, maybe,
Yeah.
Bring
kind
back
of
the
replicate it a
smell.
little bit.
I love
Yeah.
that. Cheryl is so
I'll have
cool.
to find a plaid shirt though, because I think that was plaid I was wearing there. So
Everybody has plaid. Plaid's back
It's
in. It's
back
it's
been
in.
back
Yeah.
in.
hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any it's back in. All
Yeah.
right, Dalton, you had
Well,
some?
yeah, I was going to say before we get too far along, I do think it's important for us to go ahead and take a look at our word of the episode. So, David, I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to our podcast before, but if not, I'll go ahead and explain it to you because I'm sure that we have first-time listeners. So, every podcast we have what's called a word of the episode. It is a one word that we choose that sort of sums up sort of the essence or the theme of this particular episode. And then that is used as an answer to a quiz question because we do go ahead and have our monthly calls. We end up wrap up with quizzes, and one of those questions will ask what this word of the episode is. And it's a chance for our participants to go ahead and win a gift card. So, David, as our guest today, what one word would you say sort of is summing up the essence or the theme, or that you want to make sure that people take away from this episode? I know it's a lot and hard to go ahead and distill it down to one word, but
Well,
what would you say?
I was trying to think of something that because a big part of this podcast has been the journey of my career and how long I've been here. So I don't know if this is the best word or right word, but longevity,
I
you
love
know?
that.
I love
Okay.
it.
I've
Yeah.
never had that word. That's a great
Yeah,
word.
It is a great
yeah,
word.
yeah. And a lot of there's a lot of value in staying around with something for a long time and and you got to look at the good of that experience and appreciate the people around you who do bring a lot of experience. Like many of our customers have been customers for 20 plus years, or all of you have been in the business for a long time. So yeah, longevity. I'll go with that word.
all right.
All
That's a
right.
fantastic word of the episode.
It's a
Thank you.
good one.
All right.
Sure.
So as we start turning the corner here, I just want to say thank you, David, for being able to sit down with us and sharing your experience and insights into UKG. But I have to ask the question, um, was this more, did this make you more nervous being on the podcast, or is it presenting in front of all those people at Aspire? Which one's more nerve-wracking?
Well, yeah, the presenting at Aspire, what's strange is I've been doing this for so many years and I've gotten on so many stages and I've been in some tough conversations but I still get those butterflies every single time. But maybe the difference is once I get going, then I'm fine, but
But you would never know it. Yeah, because you just get up there, you have that conversational tone and you're getting through what you need. And
yeah.
so I think it's a good sign. You're still into
Mhm.
what you're doing, right? Like
Yeah.
you want, yeah.
I am. Yeah, yeah. It's well, thanks for saying that, Cheryl, too, because it's not always a comfortable feeling getting those butterflies and nerves and you just gotta kind of coach yourself or mentally, just keep
Yeah,
yourself focused and positive and it all works out in the long run. So yeah.
that it does.
Well, rest assured, you did a fantastic job here,
Yeah.
David, and thank you so much for being a part of this. And sharing all that you have as far as your longevity and insights into the company. This was very, very important and wonderful to hear. So
Can I say one last thing then?
Of course.
Yeah,
I'm gonna,
absolutely.
to all of you, I want to thank you for popping my cherry. I really do appreciate that.
That's the best way to end this. Yes. This has
I've
been a
had
great
my podcast
conversation.
cherry
You
popped.
gotta get on
Thank
more. You gotta get on more.
Yes.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
nothing else to be said. Dalton, take us home.
Yes.
All right.
So
Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you, David, for being on here. This has been a Chicago Users production, logging out. Bye, all.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.